Welcome to Doing Business with Warren Galloway. I am your host, Warren Galloway. When it comes to your business needing operating capital, being on good terms with your banker is extremely important. It's more than just your credit score. You need to have a banking relationship. On today's show, we'll talk with Hubert Wiley, Vice President, Comerica Bank, about how businesses can foster banking relationships. Hubert, thank you for joining my show today.
Thank you. It's an honor to join you, and I look forward to our discussion regarding entrepreneurs.
Let's talk about your extraordinary banking career. Tell us a little bit about your background before we move on and talk about the importance of entrepreneurs working with banks.
Sure. I joined Comerica Bank in 1993 during a time that downtown Detroit was kind of struggling in retaining businesses and retaining its population. And so they asked me, where would I like to be placed? And I said, downtown. And so I worked at Fort in Washington, and I've been at the Renaissance Center since 1996. And what's great about the Renaissance Center is that a large portion of my clients are entrepreneurs.
Got it. Well, I mean, you're in a pretty large tower. General Motors is headquartered there, so you get a whole bunch of business owners that come through. Let's talk about the bank and why entrepreneurs should have a banking relationship. What advantages are there for me, if I'm an entrepreneur, to come in and open up an account with you?
Well, first of all, we start normally with the business checking account. Just a basic business checking account. But what's great is that at Comerica and at other banks, to be frank with you, that checking account does not have any monthly service fees. And it allows the entrepreneur to separate his or her money from their personal finances. And by having that separation, they can also keep track of the revenues, the money that they make, and the expenses, how much it costs them to make that money. And if at the time of maybe filing taxes, they have that separation in place and they'll have good records for their business.
Got it. So when we talk about this checking account, what are some of the other banking accounts, kind of, I would say, low-level banking products, do you think entrepreneurs should also look at?
Well, I think that along with the checking account, a debit card is important. Not just the convenience of using the debit card, but when you use it, it creates an electronic record of the purchase that you made. So you know how much you purchased, on what date, and what those products or services are. And so that enhances your record keeping at the end of the month or at the end of the year. Second, I always recommend that they have web banking. And web banking in two forms. One, using their laptop computer, but also have it on their smartphone. So 24/7, wherever they are, whatever time it is, they can check the balance on their account and what items have cleared their account. And so it's really important, especially in this day and age. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fraud. So you want to check your account each day.
So one of the products that we don't hear a lot about, but I know Comerica does a phenomenal job, is kind of your e-commerce, where they can take checking accounts, savings accounts. Talk about that product that you offer, because a lot of the entrepreneurs, they tend to use Square and PayPal, but I know you offer some phenomenal products to meet that need.
Yes, oftentimes the other services such as Square or PayPal are expensive because they charge per transaction, etc. So at a certain level, a certain volume of transactions, it may be less expensive if they work with a Comerica Merchant Services versus Square. And what's best is that the merchant service representative can analyze their purchase, their sales over a period of time and make a recommendation. And oftentimes the recommendation is for Comerica's Merchant Services, but sometimes we say, hey, stick with what you have right now until your volume increases. And so you will receive honest feedback on what's best for their company.
Let's talk about the suite of portfolios. If I'm a small business owner and now I have a banking relationship with Comerica, now I want to look at how I can access capital through Comerica Bank.
Sure. So the different products related to capital, on the first is the business credit card. And oftentimes that can assist a business owner in meeting their needs in several ways. You can purchase products, you can purchase online, you can take a cash advance if you need cash. And once again, it's recording all of the transactions for your record keeping purposes. And then we have a line of credit, and that helps to meet capital needs. Now, my favorite example about line of credit is the candy man. And this is a person who has a contract, let's say with a Myers or CVS, to supply holiday candy. The person supplies the candy during the holidays but has not been paid yet for what he has supplied. But what's coming around the corner? Valentine's Day. And so this is an example where the business owner can draw on that line of credit, build up his or her inventory, hire a few extra people to package candy for the next holiday before they receive payment from the previous orders. And so a line of credit fits this type of need, and owners should pay that line of credit down at least once per year. Don't keep it up at a high level, because if you never pay it down and you need an increase, the bank may be hesitant to increase your line. But this is an example where a line of credit can fit and help a business owner to be ready for the next opportunity. And certainly the bank provides credit cards, lines of credit, equipment loans, and then we provide commercial mortgages to purchase buildings and warehouses and things of that nature.
Yeah, when I work with entrepreneurs, we talk about that line of credit being a working line of credit and to cover those short-term expenses, and you're correct. I tell them you have to constantly pay it down so you can have use of it again. So
yes.
I very much understand the importance of that line of credit. Let's go back a year from now. A year from now, the pandemic has started in March. The Small Business Administration came out with a couple of new loan products, and one of them was being originated through banks, and that was the PPP. Tell us about that experience at Comerica.
Well, the payment protection program is with Comerica is that we had a portal where you can apply online. And I think that was very important for the small business owner. We processed last year and this year a total of 21,000 PPP loans. But what's interesting is 51% of those loans were $50,000 or less. And 63% of those loans were for entrepreneurs that employ 10 people or less. So you can see by those statistics that the PPP loans supported both the large companies and the small entrepreneurs. And it made funds available for them, in which if they used it for, based on the guidelines, such as for paying payroll, they received forgiveness and did not have to pay the funds back.
Yeah, I had someone tell me, a financial guy, that with the PPP, they should have taken the money, put it into a checking account at a bank to make sure that the monies did not commingle between their personal or other bank accounts, so that when it came time to prove that the money was spent for employee costs, that it was easier to get the forgiveness. So there you go. You need a bank in order to do something like that if you want to make sure that you get the maximum forgiveness amount.
Yes, and the banks had policies where you had to have a business checking account for a certain period of time in order to apply for the PPP loan through the particular bank. And that's before they changed the rules for the second round. But that created challenges for some of our entrepreneurs. Initially, during the first round, I was a person to help entrepreneurs that were having difficulty with this application process. And two issues surfaced. One was they did not have a relationship with the bank. And the second thing, they didn't have the record keeping in place to demonstrate that they paid so much in payroll during the previous year. And so by not having their records in order and not having a relationship with the bank, some who qualified in other ways were unable to get the PPP loan.
And was that the biggest issue during the first round? What about the second round PPP? Did you see better prepared entrepreneurs? Did you have entrepreneurs who didn't have accounts before now have accounts and could qualify to apply for the PPP through Comerica Bank?
Some I did. And then the other aspect was that some people who felt like maybe they would not qualify realized by the second round that they would, probably by just talking to other entrepreneurs. And so some people who qualified just didn't apply, but they made sure they applied the second time.
Comerica is very involved in the community with CRA initiatives, Community Reinvestment Act initiative. What are some of the things that they're doing to help revitalize our communities? Because whatever you're doing in the community will affect entrepreneurs for opportunities.
Well, one opportunity that Comerica provides is that we are providing free advertisements on the radio during the Tiger games for entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs can apply for this exposure and actually receive some free advertisements on the radio during the Tiger games. Number two is that what's interesting about Comerica is that we have a lot of years of experience. And so if we can sit down and talk to you about where your business is and where you want to take it, we can be proactive in recommending the right products and services for you. We will walk with you as you establish your business and grow your business.
What's the best way for them to create a banking relationship, massage that relationship, grow that relationship, and be able to take full advantage of all the portfolio of products that you offer at Comerica Bank?
Well, I think when someone opens up a business account and first establishes their account, oftentimes we don't have enough time to really discuss your business. What are your dreams? What are your plans? How do you make money? How do you plan to make money in the future? So I think one of the best things that an entrepreneur can do is sit down with their banker and have this type of discussion. Establish that relationship so we have a full understanding of what your plans are. And then number two, as we provide products and services for your business, that entrepreneur also needs products and services for their personal life. She plans to retire one day, I assume, and she may want to use extra funds for investments for herself. So therefore, let's have the discussion about the business accounts, but also let's have the discussion about personal products and services that can help that individual.
Great, great. Well, I want to say thank you for being on the show today. You provide some invaluable information that our entrepreneurs would definitely be able to utilize in order to build a banking relationship. And I appreciate you being on the show, and definitely we'll stay in touch. Okay, Hubert?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Attorney Galloway, for this opportunity. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.